What is up, everybody? We have a lot to go over with crypto. There have been a couple of bombshells that have just been dropped in the crypto world, from what is going on with the Senate infrastructure bill to what's going on with that crypto provision in that bill to also what's going on with AMC, a number of other major companies that are traded on the stock exchange, that are publicly traded, that are talking about crypto, talking about accepting crypto, and a couple of other things. At the end of the video, we're going to talk a little bit about what is going on with Jack Dorsey, whale accounts, because we just saw a key change in what is going on with whale accounts and institutional investors. At the end, we're going to talk a little bit about Ethereum and what is going on with a couple of altcoins. So if you guys enjoy this sort of content, well then please be sure to like the video down below, subscribe if you're new, and also if you want to see exactly what I am buying and selling real time, make sure to follow me on public.com. Just go to public.com/Michael. You download the app, use the code Michael, you'll get up to $50 in a free stock, and it's actually my favorite investing app out there that combines investing and social media. Just think of it like a Robinhood combined with Twitter. So anyways, let's take a look at what's going on with the market, and then after that, we're going to get into the couple of big announcements between AMC, between the Senate infrastructure bill, and what is going on with whale accounts. So let's start off there. Right now, the market is relatively flat. We have seen, Bitcoin still staying well above $40,000 per coin. We're seeing Ethereum still holding above $3,000 per coin, and things are looking pretty good overall in crypto, despite that we're having a flat day. The market cap for the crypto market is right around $1.85 trillion. And in terms of technicals, nothing has really changed. We're still above the 50-day moving average for Bitcoin. We're still above the 200-day moving average on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin as well. And Ethereum still has had a lot of positive news come out, with the London hard fork, with ETH 2.0 coming up, and a couple of announcements from Vitalik Buterin. So overall, the market, if we're looking at, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin, Cardano, XRP, Dogecoin, everything is still looking very good over the last couple days. You could see last 7 days, there is no coin in the top 10 that isn't up more than 10%. So that's looking good. But the big news that just came out within the last couple of hours, really within the last 30 minutes, was what is going on with the Senate infrastructure bill. So first of all, on Monday, August 9th, the Senate infrastructure bill that they were talking about, like that infrastructure bill in the Senate they were talking about, there were a couple of senators who proposed a compromise to this crypto tax provision on how crypto like exchanges, crypto brokers, mining companies, software developers, how they would have to report information to the U.S. government. And so there were a couple of senators who proposed a compromise to this. But the problem is, we talked about that in yesterday's video. We went over the exact details of this compromise and how they were changing the way they defined the word brokers. Because in the original bill, brokers was very broad, and it was going to include exchanges. It was going to include Bitcoin mining companies, software developers, and all these people don't always have, and all these companies don't always have all of the necessary systems in place to collect information. And it's like, why does a Bitcoin mining company need to collect and report this information to the government when they don't really involve themselves with customers? I get exchanges, but so anyways, we went all of that in the video yesterday. I'll link that down below. But the big news here is that Senator Pat Toomey had brought up this amendment to really compromise and specify what they meant by brokers in this bill, and then it was officially blocked. So they blocked this amendment, and they just went about voting the original version of this bill. And now, within the last 30 minutes, Senate has officially passed this $1 trillion infrastructure bill with the original wording of the crypto tax provision. And this is important because with this crypto tax provision, it keeps the definition of brokers. This is what a lot of people have been concerned about. The word they use and the explanation they use for brokers in this crypto tax provision is very broad, and it includes essentially Bitcoin mining companies, software developers, people who stake crypto. It includes crypto exchanges and a number of other companies in the crypto space that ultimately don't have the necessary systems in place to collect and report information that this bill is asking to the government. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. It has officially passed the Senate. A lot of controversy has been here between Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey, Brian Armstrong, who's the CEO of Coinbase. All of them have said that this, and even Mark Cuban, all of them have come out and said that this crypto tax provision could hinder innovation in the crypto space, and it could ultimately hurt the U.S. long term because it's going to push some Bitcoin mining companies, software developers, and all these other people we've talked about out of the U.S. because if with this new crypto tax provision, it makes it a lot more difficult for them. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but it's officially passed the Senate. Doesn't mean it's a law yet. We're going to have to wait and see what happens in the House of Representatives and if the president signs off on it into a law as well. Remember, for this to become an actual law, it's going to need to pass the Senate, which it already has. Then it's going to be sent to the House, and it has to pass the House of Representatives as well. If it passes the Senate and the House, it goes off to the president, and he'll sign off on it to make it a law. So we'll see what happens here. But either way, we have the original wording of the bill for this crypto tax provision. The goal of it is to raise about $28 billion over the next couple of years to help pay for this $1 trillion infrastructure bill. That is why cryptocurrency is in the bill in the first place, which, why is crypto in an infrastructure bill? Really, it's just to raise some money because they didn't do all their due diligence and research on the implications of this crypto tax provision, and I think it's pretty obvious. We see so many people who say, look, like whether we're talking about proof of stake versus proof of work, whether we're talking about these reporting and requirements to the government, a lot of senators really have not looked too deeply into what's going on, so it's causing a lot of people it's going to cause, long-term effects on the market because of the specific wording and how they're wording how they describe brokers in the bill and who is going to actually have to report information to the government. So that's the big thing. The bill is passed. The Senate, now it's being sent off to the House. Next up is what is going on with adoption and specifically AMC, because AMC recently came out in their earnings call and their CEO, Adam Aron, came out and said that AMC will officially be starting to accept Bitcoin as a payment for movie tickets by the end of the year. And we've talked about this a couple of times, and I had talked about this, I think, back in January. And I'd said, what would be an ideal combination? What goes with meme stocks and crypto? And I'd said, AMC, GameStop, they're needing to reinvent their businesses. And like GameStop is moving their whole entire business online. They're trying to become the Amazon of games. And AMC, people aren't going to movie theaters as much. I know people who have rented out entire movie theaters for $100 because no one is going to theaters. Yes, we've seen a big pickup for some of the major, releases, but for the most part, still have a much lower attendance for movie theaters all across the country. So we had spoken about this, and one solution that a lot of people in the chat, a lot of you guys, and even myself have talked about would be AMC and GameStop accepting Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Specifically, we had mentioned Dogecoin because Dogecoin is like a meme crypto and AMC and GameStop are meme stocks. So I thought those would work perfect. But now AMC is saying that they will officially accept Bitcoin as a form of payment for movie tickets by the end of the year. They didn't say if they're going to accept other cryptos, let's say like Ethereum or Cardano or Dogecoin. They didn't specifically say any of those. They simply said that, they're looking to accept Bitcoin, and they're very enthusiastic about cryptocurrency. According to Adam Aron in their earnings call, he had said that he's aware that many of the AMC shareholders, the ones that recently added to their position during this massive rally and the short squeeze, he said that a lot of these people are quite enthusiastic about cryptocurrency. So what he's hoping is that all of these enthusiasts who helped, pump AMC stock price from less than $2 per share all the way up to over $60 per share at one point. He's saying he's hoping that all of these people are going to find value in this new addition they're adding by accepting cryptocurrency. We don't know exactly how they're going to implement this just yet, but he says they're implementing. But he did hint that AMC is researching ways they could join the cryptocurrency universe with AMC and accept crypto as a form of payment for movie tickets. So we'll see what happens. But right now, the big news here is really with what is going on with AMC and how they're looking to accept crypto. Earlier in the day, I spoke a little bit in my video about Cardano, how Cardano and it's called Save the Children, which is a non-governmental organization, they had stated that they accepted crypto back in 2013, and they recently announced that they were accepting Cardano. But the big news there, and I think we might see AMC do the same, is they say when they get donations with crypto, whether it's Cardano, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, whatever coin you're talking about, they say they always convert it immediately to a fiat currency, whatever, wherever they're located, that fiat currency. And I think we'll probably see the same thing happen with AMC, that when people pay with Bitcoin, when people pay with whatever coins they do end up accepting, as soon as they pay with it, I think we're going to see it automatically transferred from, cryptocurrency to like the US dollar or to euros or whatever fiat currency they choose. But I think that's what we'll probably see end up happening, because it does reduce the risk of volatility. Because for a company like AMC or any company, they need to make sure that they're generating a certain amount of revenue from each ticket. And if they're not viewing crypto as an investment, if they're just viewing it as a form of payment, they want to make sure that they're getting paid the right amount. And the one way to do that is make sure just to transfer it immediately from crypto to fiat. So we'll see what happens, but they've been talking about that, and that is very, very exciting for crypto, for AMC stock, and for that entire, universe of meme stocks like AMC. We probably will see GameStop do the same thing as well. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about what is going on with Jack Dorsey, because Jack Dorsey came out the other day. He tweeted just after the Senate infrastructure, after the Senate was talking about the infrastructure bill. They were meeting on Monday, August 9th. They were talking a little bit about it. And what he said is he came out and tweeted and said that Bitcoin... Here, let's pull this up. He says that Bitcoin will unite the world, but doesn't say exactly how. And in the tweet, specific wording, what he says, Bitcoin will unite a deeply divided country and eventually the world. And so we have seen Jack Dorsey be very bullish on crypto. He has talked a lot about it at first of all, the B-Word Day event, which took place on July 21st, which was really the catalyst for the entire crypto market, seeing the bull run we are seeing right now. If we look at the charts, if we look back on July 21st, that was the day of the B-Word event. I believe it was that day or the day before. And ultimately, that was the day that we saw the entire market flip from being trending downwards to just having a complete bull market. And that is what we have been seeing. When we look at the charts, July 21st was the bottom for Ethereum, was the bottom for Cardano, was the bottom for Bitcoin. And now we're seeing, so that is when he spoke right here, July 21st. Bitcoin was less than $30,000 per coin. That was the day of the B-Word event. There's a lot of stuff going on with institutions, but Jack Dorsey is very bullish on crypto. He's talked about it for a while. And so this is important because he has a very big influence. He is the founder of Twitter, founder of Square. And the important part with that is with Square, payment provider, it provides payment services for thousands, tens of thousands of companies around the world. And so what he's doing is ultimately him tweeting out about it, in my opinion, is just as important as Elon Musk, if not more important, because Elon Musk tweeting about crypto is great. Like, people like to see what Elon Musk is doing. People love Tesla, and that community is strong. But Jack Dorsey and Tesla accepting Bitcoin, yeah, that's great. But Jack Dorsey could take it to a whole nother level. While people may not care as much about what he says, in the sense that they don't love, they're not such big fans. Like Tesla has huge fans. They're not as big of fans as, let's say, of Twitter or Square. But Jack Dorsey can go ahead and he's looking on creating a digital wallet. He can implement crypto with Square. He has a lot more power in the payments space than Elon Musk does, because he owns a payment company, Square. So we'll see what happens, but this was just a quick little story I wanted to touch on what is going on with Jack Dorsey and how he's talking about crypto right now. If you guys are just joining us, please be sure to like the video down below. It helps me out a lot. I always say this, but ever since YouTube deleted my account, they just deleted my entire account. I have 3 channels. They deleted all of them because I did a video on Elon Musk and Dogecoin. So ever since that happened, they don't recommend my videos to the correct audience. It's like if I do a video on crypto, they'll recommend it to people watching dog videos. Makes no sense at all. But so the only way we can get these videos out to more people is with your help, you guys liking, subscribing, and turning on the bell notifications if you don't already have it. So let's see if we get the video up to 200 likes. Anyways, moving on, we have a big story I want to talk about with institutional investors and whale accounts, because this is something that is huge for crypto. It is something that I'm always watching. What's going on with whale accounts? What's going on with institutions? Because ultimately, this has a big impact on the market. When you start looking at, the total market cap of crypto. Crypto is at about a $1.8 trillion market cap. Let's pull that up. It's a $1.8 trillion market cap. It's been as high as $2 trillion. But what's going to move the market the most? People who are investing a couple $1,000, maybe even $100,000, or people or institutions who could throw in $1 billion, $2 billion, really without thinking about it. Like we saw Tesla invest over $1 billion into crypto. Really, it's not a big deal for them. Like, yeah, it was in the news, but it's not like a life-changing, like all-in risk for them. They have money, they're generating money. So ultimately, I like to take a look at what's going on with institutions because they have the power to really move the market. If we see a number of big firms, let's say like Goldman Sachs or BlackRock or Blackstone, start putting money into crypto, that changes everything. But anyways, institutional investors right now have made a big change recently because institutional investors have recently returned to Bitcoin and are starting to accumulate a lot more. Recently, we've talked a lot about how there was one day where they purchased about $1.7 billion in crypto. There was another day where it was about $3.4 billion. And we've been, tracking this for a while. But the interesting thing is now is that when we look on, when we look over what is going on with on-chain transaction volumes. So when we look at what's going on, Bitcoin's on-chain transaction volume with values of at least $1 million has risen 10% since the beginning of August and accounts for nearly 70% of total value transferred. So when we look at all the transactions taking place right now, what has been driving the market, let's say since the beginning of August, has been these transactions of over $1 million. And for the most part, those are institutions because most of the time retail investors rarely move transactions, make transactions of over $1 million. Typically, it's less than $1 million if we're talking about retail investors. And so what we're seeing is that we're seeing this continue to change over the last couple of weeks. You could see here, so transactions over $1 million have dramatically increased since the beginning of August 2021, but we're also seeing that small and medium-sized transactions have declined dramatically as well since ultimately just the last year, not even the last couple of months. This has been a consistent trend we have been seeing. So this chart right here shows exactly what is going on with, what is this? This is the Bitcoin relative transfer volume breakdown by size. So you can see that this little red section, the little red sections of the chart make up volumes of less than $1,000. The orange section makes up less than $10,000. Yellow makes up less than $100,000, and green makes up less than $1 million. So ultimately, what we have been seeing over the last couple of months is that these transaction sizes, and not even like the last couple of weeks, over the last year, we've seen a consistent decrease in the number of, like the percentage of small transactions. So what that shows us is, look, over the last year, we've seen a pickup in big money accounts, institutional investors, whale accounts getting into crypto. So this is a great sign. Not only have we seen this trend, take place over the last year, where institutions, transactions of over $1 million are dominating the market, but now we're seeing that it's picked up even more over the last 7 to 14 days. Over the last 7 to 14 days, the number of transactions over $1 million has risen 10%, and a lot of this has been driving the gains in the market. What we have been seeing over the last, 3-4 weeks at this point. So very exciting stuff with regards to that. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, because talking about institutions, Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs have really, really big impact on crypto. Everyone says, why do these matter? I think they're huge because with Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, as soon as we start to see one of them passed, we're probably going to see all of them passed, and also I think that's going to open the door to so many institutional investors getting involved with crypto. Because previously, we had seen, let's say in 2017, there were very few institutions getting involved in crypto. But then we saw like really MicroStrategy came out in August of 2020. They put a lot of money into crypto. After MicroStrategy, we saw like Tesla and Square and a number of other companies do the same thing. So, we've seen companies put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Now, what's going to be the next step? How are we going to get more institutions involved, other than just it developing over time and people feeling more comfortable? The next thing, in my opinion, is going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, because that is a way that institutional investors can easily get exposure to crypto and not be, let's say, concerned about where am I going to store this Bitcoin? Because when you're talking about institutions, they don't store their Bitcoin and Ethereum on exchanges because they're worried about security issues. They usually take it off of exchanges, keep it in digital wallets or cold storage. They keep it somewhere else. So with a Bitcoin Ethereum ETF, they can get direct exposure to Bitcoin or Ethereum and not have to worry about where they're storing it. They're not going to have to worry about certain reporting requirements to the SEC. It's very easy for them to invest. So I think as soon as we start to see them pass, that is when we'll see, as soon as we start to see a Bitcoin Ethereum ETF pass, that will be when we see institutional investors really start to pour in. Let's say companies that were a little bit on the fence before. But so the big news here is that VanEck just tried again for a Bitcoin strategy ETF. And this is different than just a Bitcoin ETF. This is a Bitcoin strategy ETF. So essentially, a Bitcoin ETF or Ethereum ETF would be where they own the actual underlying Bitcoin. Like they physically own Bitcoin. But so they're not going to invest directly in Bitcoin or Ethereum. So with this Bitcoin strategy ETF, they don't invest directly in Bitcoin or Ethereum, but what they do is they're going to invest in, let's look at the list. They're going to invest specifically in crypto ETFs, Bitcoin mining companies. They said they're also going to invest in really anything that has exposure to crypto. Those are the things that they're going to be looking to invest in, like even Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, things like that. They're just not going to be owning the underlying Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens there, but that's what's going on with the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. That's what they're currently talking about. So hopefully we'll see what happens, but looks like the stream is lagging just a little bit right now, so I closed out the thing on the bottom. So we'll see what happens there. Let me know if it's all good. But so VanEck is trying again, filing another document to have a Bitcoin strategy ETF with the SEC. They had filed one back in 2017, so we will see what happens there. And lastly, I want to talk a little bit about what is going on with regards to Ethereum and altcoins. So right now, what we're seeing is Ethereum. Let me know if the stream is okay. But Ethereum right now has been driving the gains in the market over the last couple of days. Ethereum has really been, ever since the London hard fork, it has been taking off. If we look at the charts of Ethereum, every single day for the last 3 or 4 weeks, Ethereum has ended with a green candlestick, which is great. And so right now, according to Bloomberg analyst Mike McGlone, who's a senior commodity strategist at Bloomberg Intelligence, he says that the gains we're seeing in Ethereum could pave the way for $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. He said right now what we're seeing is that Ethereum has performed significantly better than Bitcoin over the last 12 months. We've seen Ethereum have a much higher percentage return than Bitcoin. And what he's showing us on this chart right here, Bitcoin versus Ethereum chart, he's showing us that right now Ethereum is this white line on the top of the screen, Bitcoin is the orange line. If we look at the total percentage of return, like where it started off, where Bitcoin and Ethereum both started off in the beginning of 2021, you can see at the beginning of 2021 to now, Ethereum has increased dramatically. It has increased from less than $1,000 per coin all the way up to over $3,000 per coin. And if we look at Ethereum on the other hand, if we look at Bitcoin on the other hand, it hasn't performed as well. So what he's saying is that right now, with Ethereum and the massive gains we have seen, he believes that we are going to see a similar percentage return for Bitcoin by the end of the year. And he thinks the gains we're seeing with Ethereum we're going to see the same things with Bitcoin happen by the end of 2021. And we should be able to see it reach, $100,000, $135,000 per coin. So we'll see what happens there, but that's what's really going on with crypto right now. The two big announcements with what's going on with AMC, what's going on with the Senate infrastructure bill. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to like the video down below. It helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and follow me on Public Investing app if you want to see exactly what I'm buying and selling in real time. Just use public.com/Michael. Use the code Michael, and you'll be able to see everything I buy, everything I sell, all in real time, completely for free. But I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Hopefully your crypto portfolios, stock portfolios are doing well.